Saint-Antoine-Abbé, Quebec, 10 kilometers from the US-Canada border. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police is staging a media opportunity to show off its new Black Hawk helicopter. The aim is to show that surveillance of the border with the US has been stepped up, but mostly to send a message to Donald Trump, who has accused Canada of allowing illegal immigrants and fentanyl to flow across the border on a massive scale. But even US government figures don't back up the president's claims. Less than 1% of all illegal migrants and fentanyl intercepted in the US came from Canada.
We have several drones, we have several patrol vehicles, obviously normal vehicles, but also quad bikes, snowmobiles and amphibious vehicles. We also have a whole range of equipment at the border, cameras, sensors and other detection capabilities. Let's face it, 9,000 kilometers of border is a huge area, but this helicopter is basically in addition to the many tools we already have. We also want to send a message to the Americans that we're taking this very seriously. But again, let's be realistic and look at the situation, and the situation is absolutely under control at the moment.
In an attempt to reassure its neighbour and avoid looming trade sanctions, Ottawa is spending 1.3 billion Canadian dollars on border security over the next 6 years.
We're coming up to a typical border crossing. You see the US and then you see Canada here.
Jason Orr has been working this border for over a decade. In recent years, he's seen mafia organizations develop illegal immigration operations.
This is a typical illegal crossing point. At the weekend, 3 people cross the border here. People arrive by car, they get out, they cross, then there's another car sometimes waiting for them on this side. It happens very quickly.
Temperatures here drop to minus 30 degrees Celsius at night. Sometimes whole families try to cross fields to reach the United States or enter Canada. Regularly abandoned along the way by their smugglers, many freeze to death before reaching their destination. Through a combination of tighter immigration checks and a new asylum application system, interceptions of illegal immigrants from Canada have fallen since October 2024, according to the US Border Agency. In addition to the fight against illegal immigration, the White House wants to curb the arrival of fentanyl from Canada. This synthetic drug is now responsible for 86% of overdose deaths, according to Health Canada.
What would you like to test today? It's supposed to be coke. You can put your bag right here. You see there? That shows a good match with caffeine. And then if we remove the caffeine, yeah, we have mannitol, which is quite common. That's a good match. Okay, so I'll give this back to you. I can't see anything below 5%, so there could be other things. We found caffeine, mannitol, which is a sweetener often used to add weight, and we found cocaine. So there's cocaine in your cocaine.
In Montreal, this mobile drug analysis unit has seen a gradual rise of opioid and fentanyl use.
I'd say we've definitely seen an increase in the consumption of this type of opioid, but also in the use of this opioid as a cutting agent in other opioids and other substances in general. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, it's really causing a lot of fatal overdoses.
Since 2016, fentanyl has been responsible for nearly 50,000 deaths in Canada and 10 times that number in the US, according to the US Centers for Disease Control. A declassified memo from the Department of Public Health said fentanyl is increasingly being produced in Canada using components that have been shipped from China. 44 underground labs have been dismantled since 2018, the largest of which was discovered last October in British Columbia. The White House also wants Canada to double its defense budget by 2033.
Le panel Canada-US est censé être où? Là aussi, OK.
For this specialist in borders and geopolitics, the objective is above all to gain time and new allies.
Saying we're militarizing the border zone made sense politically. Will it solve the problem? No.
But it buys time. Canada must vie for time, must wait until there is perhaps a change of regime. In the short term, this is practically the only thing to do. In the longer term, we need to find allies, define alliances, and find economic outlets to help us get through what's going to be a substantial shock. It's perhaps the wake-up call that's been missing for us to adjust our tone and then insert ourselves differently on the global chessboard.
Whilst Canada is seeking to respond to its neighbours' demands to secure their common border, the government maintains that it will retaliate dollar for dollar to any trade sanctions imposed by the United States against Canada.